Hello, 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 and welcome back on this lovely Tuesday, one of my days off. And in May, I've changed my working days slightly. I'm maintaining the same hours, but it will give me 2 days off every week, which is going to be fantastic. But anyway, that beside the point. I'm here today to try and start to create more of what I envision this space looking like. At the moment, it is chaos, and order comes from chaos, so I'm not too worried. When I first started, it was a little bit scary. It is still a little bit overwhelming. However, I think I am getting there, slow but sure. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a quick tour of my space as it looks today, chaos and all. I'll explain what it is I want to do with the space, and then I will carry on and get going with trying to do what it is I'm planning to do. I will not give explanations of what I'm doing because it will be rather self-explanatory, I think. And so let's get going. At the moment, I'm in year 3 of having this allotment. Actually, no, this is going to be my 3rd year. In July, it will make 3 years since I started working this allotment, and I've changed it up slowly but surely to create a space that I think works for me. However, there's still a lot more work to be done, and I'll show you a little bit of what I've done so far to date, and then we will go from there. So to start this tour, we are going to go to the front of the plot because I think that's where we need to start. And we'll start at the left corner. Okay. In here, I have some potatoes, Desiree potatoes, which are starting to come up. I had very little faith and I did not believe they were going to come up, but they seem to be coming up now. So that is absolutely fantastic. Some of my onions, which I didn't take out last year, are going to flower and produce seed, and I'll let them self-seed if they choose to. This bed here, this bed here, I've put a Brabant apple in the middle, and we do have some blossoms on it, which is rather exciting. So I may get a couple of apples in it. The giant garlic, which I did not take out last year, seems to be coming back. This onion is going to flower. I'll leave it, and if it self-seeds, it self-seeds. I put in some, I've forgotten what they're called, gabarella or something like that, and they are doing fine. I've still got some weeds which keep trying to come up, so I'm constantly suppressing them. You see, this is a grass. So what I did is I'm making this into a flower bed, and I think it will be looking fantastic. I was trying to hide this from you, but as you can see in the back, we have, the shed has moved, because the shed used to be there next to the other shed, but it's moved. It still needs to be leveled correctly, and I'm going to actually pay someone to do that because I don't have the manpower to do it. So someone is going to come in, level it, and we'll set it back down there, and that will be done. And it's going to happen by the end of May. That's the plan. And then in here, we've got Senshin onions, which are doing fine. I've weeded the bed. I could easily take this off, and I will be taking the netting off to give my plot a little bit of a better look than it currently has. It does, I was protecting it from a critter that keeps coming and digging up my beds. In here, I have garlic, which is eager to come up. So really and truly, what I need to do is I need to pull this back and let it breathe. Like that. As you can see, it's doing fine. I keep coming in and doing my weeding, so they're doing fine. This garlic here, I've forgotten what make of garlic it was. It did not do well, but these ones here did well, and the ones over there did well as well. So they're doing absolutely fantastic. This over there at the top end is going to be my bin growing space, and I do need to set it up. but at the moment it isn't set up. I'm going to change up this space. I got myself some pallet collars. I found a source of pallet collars which are cheaper than any raised bed you can actually buy online or make yourself, because each of these pallet collars was £6. There are two sizes he's got, but these are the ones that could fit in my car, so they're the ones I got, and I got 10 of them. I thought that I think I overestimated, because I think I have more pallets than I need, but I'm thinking of how I'm actually going to use them. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to change up this space and put 2 pallet collars there to use that space properly. And then when the garlic is out, I'm thinking that I'll have another 2 here with a path in between them, in order that I don't need to worry about my border and using this plastic, which proved to be not as good. Well, the cheap one wasn't good. This one seems to still be holding, so maybe it's not a bad thing. Let's move up a little bit to the next beds. I do have quite a bit of growing space, but I still feel like I don't have enough. In there on the left we have our Swiss chard from last year, and it's still doing well. I actually used some of it for Easter lunch. And then behind it I've got some shallots which are doing fine, but they're not as great as I've had before. I don't know where, I think I bought them from Thompson and Morgan. Every time I bought stuff from Thompson and Morgan, I must admit I haven't been impressed, so I think I won't be using it again. And over here are my straw bales, which are ready for planting, because I finished the conditioning of them yesterday. But I'm going to give them one extra day, because I feel like there's one day where I didn't do it as well as I should. So I'm going to give them another day of 10-10-10 fertilizer, or is it 7-7-7, one of the two. And either way, I'm going to give them that, and then I'll decide what it is I'm actually going to put in there, because I have no clue what I'm planting in there and I haven't planned for it. So we move up to my circular bed, which is doing fine, but because I had a bad experience with this material of border, what I've done is I've bought myself some corrugated iron lawn edging, and I'm actually going to be using it to change this out as the growing season goes. In here I've got the garlic that I got from Bethan's garden, and the second tier are my Ailsa onions that are for the competition. So whichever grows the biggest will be the one I put forward, but I think I'm going to be one of the last ones because I haven't done it as everyone else has. I've been mollycoddled them. I was away for 5 weeks and then I came back. I've got a few leeks left in here, in addition to a lot of Swiss chard, so that's doing fine. I had a lot of shallots, so the excess I put in here, and they seem to be doing fine in there. We go up and start on the left. In here I've got some more Ailsa onions, also for the competition, and then I've also got some, I think it's Bedfordshire champions or Kelsey onions, which were demolished by something when they were in the greenhouse whilst I was away, but I'm trying to revive them. I've got some surviving strawberries, despite the fact that I pulled out all my strawberries, but the ones in the past I'll leave alone. As long as they're not taking up space in my bed, I won't stress so much. I'll just pull them up at the end of each growing season. Here we've got some more garlic, which is doing absolutely fantastic. This bed was filled with manure in the middle of last year, and it seems to have done it well, because this garlic is my healthiest looking garlic. In here we've got some asparagus, and also some of these funny seeds. I don't know what plant this is, but I've got the seeds all over, but then it's probably a tree of some sort, because I find them all over all the time and I have to keep pulling them out. So if anyone knows what they are, tell me. Not that I want any trees in my bed, so I'm constantly pulling them out and deadheading them and just leaving them on top, and I'm slowly winning the battle of that. I planted some direct sowed some parsnips in there, but they didn't do well. So I'm going to redo it one of these days, but not today. Today is for other things. I weeded this bed the other day and then I mulched it with grass and clippings from my hedge, and it's looking fine. Up there, I think my potatoes should be coming through. I covered it in order to stop. Yes, the potatoes are coming through. See how chaotic my space is. Yep. These are kestrel and they're all coming through, which is fantastic. I even put some of the Desirees here because I ran out of space down the other end, and they're doing fine. The reason I cover it is because I have something that comes in here and tries to dig for worms, so I constantly have to keep it covered until the plants grow. It doesn't tend to disturb the plants once they've grown. It just goes for the empty space. Giant garlic, which didn't grow last year but is growing beautifully this year. Those beds there and there, I'm thinking of cutting the base off and moving them because I need that space cleared in order that I can configure those boxes which have a few raised beds in them. They're supposed to cover some of this space here in order that I can have more growing space. You can see the chaos all over because when I moved the shed, I had to rush in the end to try and make sure I did everything in order that I could get the help I needed. And we're going to go back down this way. This bed, I bought threading rods thanks to Nick the gardener. He told me I could get threading rod because for some reason they did a bed that's this long, but they never provided threading rods to go in. So I had to go pay more money. In fact, I should write to them and tell them that, you know, this bed is poorly made because when you put soil in it, it actually warps. And I'm going to take these covers off and leave the frames because I'm thinking that I might actually use this as a brassica bed because it's got the frame on it, but we shall see. I don't know where anything is going, although I brought some seedlings with me. So let's go this way. Over here we have shallots which are doing fine, and I'm going to change up the frame that I'm using for these so that they can be covered better than they are right now. And once again, the covering is simply because I've got someone who keeps coming in and trying to snuffle in between my plants. That's why I've got that there. In here, I put some of my shallots on the edge because I had run out of space in there. I don't know if you can see them, but they are lovely. They're looking great. And then my meteor peas are giving up the ghost, but I realized that I've got too many peas and nowhere to put them. And so those over there are sugar snap. So the sugar snaps are still doing fine and they're starting to climb. So I'm okay with just having sugar snap, and then I can put something else in here to replace the sugar snap that have actually died. I mean the meteors, if they all die, I'll replace them with something else. I've got enough to do. And over here is my current project. Yesterday I was here, but I didn't record because there were a lot of kids. There was a lot of noise. I'm not used to that because normally no one comes down, but obviously it was Easter Monday. So parents came down with the kids and it was rather noisy. But I had my headphones, but then I decided, you know what, it's all right. And so I didn't put them in, but I worked really hard, and I've been stapling old compost bags to the sides of this in order to protect it from rotting too quickly. And I did these 2 beds, but that bed is too big for that space. So what I'm thinking is I'm actually going to create 2 beds there, and I want to make them in such a way that I have a path in between here, and the 2 beds are going to be closer to that edge, and there'll be a path passing through here. I'm thinking that it will work, but we shall see. I'm going to lay out 2 pallets to see whether or not they will work the way I'm thinking they should work. And if they work, well and good. So that is my main job of today. The other job I want to complete today is I want to plant up that bed, top it up with compost, and then plant it up with some pak choy which I've come with. These 2 I want to half fill with manure, and then I can actually go to the local garden centre to get some compost to top it all up. Everything has been cardboarded in the bottom to reduce and suppress the weeds a lot more. I'm scraping up my good soil that I have in here and putting it into the beds in the bottom in order that I can actually have a much easier time filling them. I feel like now I'm closer to where I want to be. I love the fact that the Savoy cabbage, flowered. There's another one over there that is flowering as well, just there. I'm going to see whether or not I can allow it time to produce the seeds, although I have a lot of Savoy leaf cabbage anyway in terms of seeds. My compost beans were moved, as you know, so they're now sat here, and someone gave me some horse manure, so it is in this one, and then some of it is in the other one rotting down. This one is half empty. I still have to clear up this side. This is the end that will need a lot of work from me, but we shall get there, of that I'm sure. And I'm leaving this space kind of clear at the moment because I need to get this space leveled, the shed put down nicely. When the shed is fully down nicely, then I'll start to clear everything and create the space that it needs to be. Here will be my sitting area after everything is done. So I'll just sit here, and in front of the shed I want to put a couple of beds there. So it's intensive in terms of growing space, but I need I need the growing space. I don't know why, but I need the growing space. I want to see a lot of stuff growing, and hopefully by end of May the garden will look a little bit more organized. But for now it is as it is, and we shall improve it, because once this is done properly, my rod holder, I need to lean against the fence because it fell over, so I'll probably end up leaning it against the shed, but for now I can't because the shed is not stable enough for it. Or I could even put it here against this compost bin and lean it against this compost bin in order that I have them close, because on the other side they fell. I don't know why they never used to fall before. I think it's the wind. So ideally what I want to do is I want to be able to lean them against here or at the back of the shed and then hang it there. But for now it will lean onto the back in order that I can start to clear this space, because I want to clear this space, create a nice boundary in order that people do not encroach on my space, because I think this is going to be moved. This is going to be given away because I don't think my neighbor is going to come back because he hasn't been well. So when that new owner comes, I'll need to tell them they need to move the compost bins out of the way, which is a pity, because had I known that they were going to do that, I wouldn't have moved this far from here. I would have kept it here and just changed up my pallets on which it sits currently. But it's okay, because it is what it is and I can't change it. So yeah, this is my allotment now. It is rather chaotic. Okay, this looks a little bit higgity-piggity. However, I am happy that it is better than it was, and it creates a boundary. That's going to be my entryway. So I'm going to put beds all along here as a sign to whoever has been disturbing my spaces that this is a boundary. And I've left space for the hedge to be trimmed. I've put a wood membrane at the back of my pole holder because it will help to suppress a few of the weeds that are underneath at the bottom of the hedge while still leaving the top open to grow. And I'll just have to keep it trimmed around that space in order that it remains accessible. And now I've done enough of the heavy manual labor with my arm and its problems. So I'm just going to finish tidying up all the poles, and then I'll carry on with sorting out my beds. I'm also thinking that I probably should do a fire. I can put it in the center of this section here, just here, because it's got paving all the way around, and do the fire there so that I can get rid of some of this wood, because it's a lot of wood and I really don't want to be doing a dump trip at the moment. I've got too much to do to add a dump trip to everything else. Right, let me get on and carry on. Okay, I'm happy with my progress, although I have to keep an eye on the fire for now, so I can't move on to anything else. I am happy that I've cleared this space. It gives me much more of an idea of how much space I have. It is so nice to be able to sit down for a while and to, you know, have a good time of it. It is absolutely fantastic. Once the fire goes down, I'm going to get on and plant out some of the fennel, because I brought fennel with me. I've got lettuce and I've got pak choi, all of which I want to put in the ground. Okay guys, now it is time to move on to the next thing. The fire is nearly gone. This is top up of my coffee. It's lovely. Honestly, this is the first time I'm enjoying myself taking a moment to sit down, because I promised myself that I would actually make time to sit down whilst I'm here. Everyone else has gone now. Yep, mine is the only car left. I was the first one in, last one out, as usual, although there are, as I said, a lot more people. So I think my next step is to start putting together. Actually, before I do that, I need to water the 2 new beds that I set up yesterday, and then get some plants into them, cover them up with what I'm thinking in my head to see whether or not that will work, and I'm sure it will. And then if I have time and energy, because I also need to make it home, ideally I want to be home by 4 o'clock, because tomorrow is a work day and I need to relax, take it easy, do a little bit of laundry. Not that it's urgent because I've got uniform and everything I need to wear was washed yesterday. So what I want to do is I want to, oh yeah, and I'll need to water my straw bales and add my 777 fertilizer. But yeah, I'm going to get on and do some watering of the whole allotment, and then afterwards I'll get on and do the planting of those little seedlings that have been waiting. I've actually also got a cabbage with me, so I'm thinking that I might actually put the cabbage in the bed as well. One of the pixie cabbages. They're meant to be 1 foot apart from each other, so I like to use the square foot gardening method for spacing my plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find my square foot rule, which is in there, and use it to mark out what I need in order that when I actually put them in, it will be a square foot, although I kind of know how to guesstimate it. Let's put it that way. But anyway, cheers. See you in a minute. Right guys, I'm nearly done. The straw bales have been watered and fertilized, and everything has been watered, and now I am just going to show you what I've done. You have seen a lot of the time lapse of everything I've managed to do today, but I've managed to finish off these beds, watered them, and I'm going to put my seedlings in here. That's something I'm actually really pleased with, despite the fact that this space is still chaotic, but it will get better, trust me. I've cleared the weeds in here, left the flowering cabbages to flower and provide some food for the bees. I've watered all of these, and my kestrel potatoes are looking happy. Just need to clear these plastics, which I need for my remaining pallet beds, which need to be lined like this. So these two will sit here like that. The other two will be down there, and this looks good. If this chaotic bit wasn't here, trust me, when it's all done, this will be my sitting area just in front of the shed. I'll have a path that leads through there, which will take me to the back. I'm going to have beds here, I'm going to have beds there, and this is what I'm most proud of. Having cleared that was hard to do. I've put a barrier. It doesn't look so nice, but what I will do is I've got some morning glory coming, so I'll put a frame up here so that we can grow some morning glory there. The sun is on this side of me, so it comes all the way. I'll have to study and see how long it's round the back of here, but I'm pretty pleased. I'm considering whether or not to move this further back or forward, in order that, if I'm moving it, it has to move further back. So this space might remain the space for storage and access to the hedge, so I won't disturb it, but I'll have beds here in front of by the side of the shed. Yeah, I hope I'm making sense, but this is what it's going to look like. and I've burnt a lot of excess wood. I just need to clear up, and someone is coming to give me a quote for how much it will take to level this using my paving stones, which are already here, to level the shed and put it down properly so that I can actually then start finishing off. So that is what I've done today. Oh my days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these babies into these beds and then I can protect them. Right, you'll leave me here planting up my babies. Aren't they gorgeous? For those of you who may not know, I've just put up my squares. So each of these bays gives me 6 square foot, but plus a bit extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pak choy in here. I'm also going to put the pixie cabbage in the middle there. Pixie cabbage, you only need the 1 per square foot. Those squares are a square foot, and it takes 4 pak choys per square foot. In the other bed over there, I'll put some lettuce, and I'll find out, I think it's 4 to 6 lettuces per square foot. That is how I like to use my spacing, and square foot gardening makes a lot of sense to me. So that's how I'm going to do this.